Welcome to Amy Learns to Cook. How many times have you gone to the store, buy some bananas, and for whatever reason, time gets away from you. Next thing you know, they're way ripe and almost ready for the trash. There's no way you can use these up before they go bad, believe me. I mean, you'd have to make a lot of smoothies, a lot of banana nut breads, all kinds of things you'd have to use within the next day or two. Bananas can go bad in really just a matter of a couple of days. So today I want to show you a way you can preserve them by freezing them. There's lots of different ways to do it, and I want to show you the way that I've done it, and it works out wonderful. So join me as I show you how to freeze bananas. One of the concerns with freezing is how to do it. You can leave them in the skin and then throw them in the freezer, but then the problem is they're rock hard and the skins are stuck and it's going to be hard to peel them off. You can do what we're going to do, which is simply peel them first and then freeze them. But obviously you don't want to just simply throw it in the freezer, expose the air so it can kind of dry out and get kind of nasty, right? But freezing them is a good way to preserve them because it buys you some time to be able to use them. And if you're going to use them like we do, such as in smoothies, or if you want to make some banana ice cream, Amy, then they come in wonderful for that. The problem with bananas is, especially recently, we try to go to the store once every 2 or 3 weeks just to minimize, going to the store and taking a chance of catching something. And even when I buy green bananas, right? I might buy a couple that are yellow and I'll buy some that are green. The green ones, literally under a week, they get to be like this. And then I don't get my 2 or 3 weeks in between going to the store. So I have to do something. I love making smoothies and we have to go without, or I've got to go more often. So without wasting too much time showing you how we peel. So we're just going to go ahead and peel these things. You can either put them whole like that, or however you want to stagger them. In our case, I'm using a sheet pan. This is what, Jelly Roll, Amy? Mm-hmm. And then I'm using a couple of sheets of parchment paper that fits in here, because what happens is you're going to get condensation in here, and you want to minimize some of the mushying factor with these. I mean, the bananas are going to potentially get a little mushy. If you freeze them and then you thaw them out, they may not have the same texture as a fresh one would have. But believe me, it's better than being totally dark and mushy just from being way overripe. The other thing is, when you do freeze these things, understand that the ripening process stops, which is good. The bad news is, if you put a green banana in there, or one that's got some green on it and maybe it's not as sweet as you want it to be, you want to ripen them as much as you want and then freeze them. So in this case, they're ripe enough. They smell wonderful. They're not mushy yet, but if they get a little worse, some people can be picky about their bananas, right? I mean, everybody's got an opinion on everything. So ripen them to your desired ripeness and then peel them and freeze them. And the one part I forgot to mention is the reason why I'm laying this out in a pan, or you can use a cutting board, anything that's flat, is you want to get these guys frozen, even if you just freeze them for a couple hours, just to get them a little hard. Because if you throw them into a Ziploc bag or even a food saver bag and you vacuum pack them, you don't want them kind of mushing or really getting stuck to each other, right? Most of the time when we freeze things, we like to get them frozen or partially frozen on a flat board. This just helps keep them in here happy, I suppose. But I could have also put them on a cutting board as well. So what I'm going to do here is, I found out that when you freeze these things, you're going to get a potential coat of icing on them, because you're going to get condensation in the freezer. Unless you're doing this in a dry environment or wintertime or something, just the humidity is going to be enough to cause a bunch of, like a layer of ice on top of this. And this is just a simple way to prevent that. So I'm just putting another piece of parchment paper on there, right? And then I'm going to put some foil. You can also use saran wrap if you like. I like this foil because it's wide enough that one sheet is good enough to keep this covered, and you can also recycle the foil. So now that we got this guy wrapped, he's good to go. So we'll be back in my case, I'm going to do this overnight. So tomorrow we'll pull this out of the freezer and they'll be nice and frozen, and then we can bag them. All right, it is overnight now and we have
frozen bananas.
Frozen bananas. Okay, we all go home now. We're done, right? No, it's not that easy, is it, Amy? I gotta finish the job. So, let's see what we got here. You like opening presents, don't you, Boo Boo?
Yeah.
I got a big old.
Birthday's coming up, so.
You get no present for that. All right. So you see this right here? Let's go ahead and open this up here. That is. Oop! I got a stuck banana. Yeah, happens a little bit, but it's not that bad. So right here, you can see some of the condensation turned into ice. And that's what I'm trying to prevent here. So the paper did the job. You see these guys? They're nice and beautiful, aren't they? Yes, they are. And are they hard? Can you do this with your normal banana?
Banana!
So they're frozen. So yay, they're good. All right, so we got a gallon Ziploc bag. I guess we can start loading these bad boys, huh?
Can you food saver them, Boo?
No, you can't. They will die. So if you're just going to put these guys in the freezer for a couple of days because maybe, you know, it's the beginning of the week and they're going to turn to mush and die, then yeah, several days, they'll be just fine in here. Just see the most air you can get out of here. But if you're going to keep them for long term, then yeah, food saver them will help prevent them from getting, what, frostbite? And we definitely don't want that, so I'm just going to throw these guys in there. Yeehaw. So I do have a combination of full bananas and combinations of half bananas. So that way I can do whatever I want, right? In my case, Vitamix will eat them up just fine. If Amy's going to make some banana ice cream, or she's going to be developing some recipes for it, and she said, Boo, give me lots of bananas. So I show up with 7 bunches. You think we're going to go through 7 bunches in under a week? No. Now, if she makes me a lot of trial ice cream, we might. But, but anyways, can I get this all in here? Of course, I just pull out the thing. So this is where we just had the bananas, right? And you can see there's a little bit of moisture there. And now you can see under it, you can see here's a bunch of condensate. It's not frozen, but it may have been, and it just happened to thaw out in the few minutes that we've had this out. So that kind of shows you the value of having paper down. Can you use cloth or something? Like, can you put a towel down? I suppose you can. I wouldn't do paper towels. Paper towels would stick and be ugly. But at least parchment paper does a good job. Wax paper probably would work. Butcher paper probably would work. Just something that is durable enough that you can peel off of bananas. Because the last thing I want to do is eat paper products on my bananas. So I think this method actually worked out. It's pretty simple and it'll work great. So if you need to preserve your bananas for smoothies or ice cream or, you know, anything, right? Pies, whatever, even just to eat, then by all means, banana nut bread.
Chocolate covered bananas.
Chocolate covered bananas, or as a friend of mine at work, Kane, wants me to do fried bananas. Boo. Plantains. So I don't know. We'll look that up. But anyways, this is something that hopefully you've learned something that can benefit you. And, you know, especially with what we're going through. So if this helps you not have to go to the store as much and still help you from not missing bananas, then great. So I give this a 2 thumbs up. If you like this video, please subscribe, give us a comment and a like, and go to our website at amylearnstocook.com. We're on Pinterest and Twitter at amylearnstocook. We're on Instagram at Cooking with Amy, and Amy has her own Facebook group. Facebook.com /groups / Amy Learns to Cook. Yay! Now let's put some of these bananas to some work. All right, we made this smoothie last night and it was delicious, but we didn't finish it all. So let's recharge it by throwing in a couple of our buddies, right? So this should, oops, get him in there. All right, love my Vitamix. Let's go ahead and turn them on. Look at that. Light it up, baby. And just like that, frozen bananas are no challenge for the Vitamix. You ready for some smoothies, boo?
Yeah, come on, bring it.
Now the fun part. How's it taste, boo?
Outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Tastes like strawberries and banana.
Well, we got strawberries, bananas, cranberries, carrots.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good stuff in here. So,
That's better than any smoothie you can get anywhere.
plus it's non-dairy, which works great for Amy. So I really like this, but it's helpful. I gotta have bananas for my smoothies, just the way I roll. And this is one way we can do it. So,
Well, it helps since it's non-dairy.
yes, it helps when it's non-dairy. That way Amy doesn't,
No, but the bananas help when it's non-dairy because it...
Well, the bananas offers like a smoothness to it. It helps make it a little on the creamy side. If we just throw berries in there, then it's all tasting a certain way. The bananas help to kind of give it a little bit of balance. If I just put oranges in there, then the oranges and berries make it all taste acidic. This kind of helps adds a certain sweetness to it. So